Okay, Mayor, what do you want to talk about today?
I'm open to talking about anything. I think you've heard that we are going to be appointing Chris Rube as the new Director of Economic Development, and we're very excited about that. Just wanted to give you a little background on how we came to that decision and why. You know, after we had our last Executive Director of Economic Development, we did a lot of soul searching about what we really needed to have in that position, and not only just thinking about it, but talking to a lot of people. So I spent some time talking to Kelly Smallridge and Danny Martell and Dennis Grady, and we all sort of came to the same conclusion that we need somebody who's a go-to person, somebody who knows how to manage a project, somebody who's going to follow through, someone who's not afraid to pick up the phone and call people. You know, as we started to think about the people we knew, we realized that Chris probably fit that bill better than anybody. And it was great to have somebody who's basically in the office next door to me be willing and able to take on that job. So we're excited about it.
Okay, I was checking, Elliot's looking up how much Chris will be paid, and we looked up what Mr. Durham was getting paid. And so I guess budget-wise, you can kind of get away with it because you had a position that was open.
And not only that, it's a little different position. Mr. Durham was Executive Director of Economic Development, and we realized that we needed someone who was going to be not at like a policy level, or I guess policy isn't the right word, but not in the upper administrative level. We need a go-to person, somebody who's going to get the job done, as I said before. So we changed it to Director of Economic Development, which is a little different pay range.
Okay.
And yes, we could do it because we already have that money set aside.
Will you replace Chris here?
Yes.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is that the old position was a little more managerial, and the new one's going to be sort of feet on the ground, or boots on the ground, so to speak?
I think that's a good way to put it. You know, I want a doer, and Chris is a doer.
Okay, good. And the new position switches right away?
I'm sorry?
The new position switches right away?
After October 1st.
Okay. All right.
With the new budget year.
Okay. Speaking of budget, do you anticipate any surprises tonight? It seems like you've already pretty much hashed everything out.
I hope so.
You know, and
yeah, no, I hopefully it will go smoothly. I think we have had many meetings where we've discussed a lot of different options, and I think we're at the place we want to be right now.
okay. Do you want to talk at all about the chapel situation? Which, by the way, was very thoughtful of Mr. Kildare to move that meeting back so I could get the Dolphins game in.
There you go. Just for
I
you.
thanked her for that. I thanked her for that.
What questions do you have?
Well, you were on record at the last meeting as saying that you were not comfortable with the scope of the thing, and I'm guessing that's still your position. And the fact that the developers have asked for more time, and Mr. Kildare flat out said to me that it was most likely that they would come back with something that would look different, presumably smaller scope.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, first of all, are you able to say whether you've had any talks with them?
I have. I've talked with them and gave them my opinion, which is that it's too big and too blocky. You know, it's too blocky.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like it's hard for me. I don't know the right architectural terms, but it's just like a block standing there. And it's so when I spoke with them, I suggested that they look at ways to break that up, give us some more blue space in between, you know, maybe 2 buildings, whatever. That it was too much of a monolith.
Now, the city, you're in sort of an in-between thing, because you could end up, if the city turns down what the developers want, the city could end up with something that they want even less.
Yeah.
Because there is, to a certain extent, they already are allowed to develop something. So there's a balancing act. It sounds like something's going to go there.
Yeah, they are allowed to develop something, and as much as I would prefer that continue to be a green space and that we continue to have the intercoastal available to us, the fact of the matter is something can be built there. So, and whatever's built there is going to block the view. There's not really much of a view now as you drive down, and whatever's going to go there will block the view. So let's have something really good go there. We have to have something. And you know, people are confused. They get confused with the technicalities. There's no height limit on that piece of property. That's not part of our downtown master plan.
But there is the setbacks.
It is the setbacks, but something can be built there.
Somebody was commenting to me that having a 20-something foot setback means that, you know, if somebody knocked a flower pot out there
Really?
off their balcony, it would land on a car almost. I mean, it's an exaggeration, but it's a very small setback.
It's very small, very small. And that continues to be an issue, especially since there's nothing, there's no break in it, so it's you know, a square with very small setbacks. I think these people are very knowledgeable in terms of what they're proposing. I do believe, I didn't in the beginning, but I do believe now there's a market for high-end residential, especially since we're seeing so much activity in our real estate. And I think that something beautiful could be there. I just don't think it's what they proposed. And I do believe they're going to come back with something different.
And anything on the Rybovich? That's still pretty early.
It's still early.
Having said that, there seems to be a lot of, you know, while the details still have to be worked out,
Right.
there seems to be a lot of feeling that having something up there would really go a long way towards revitalizing that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So in concept, you think you're for it?
Yeah. I think Rybovich and Related have done an excellent job reaching out to the community. I think that they have helped us and the community understand that some of the amenities that we want in that area, like a great grocery store, are not going to be there until you have the population there. And if you talk to people who decide where grocery stores go, they'll tell you, they look at the demographics, you know, what's the average income, how many people are living here, and that's how they decide where to put a grocery store. So if we want to see amenities in the North End, we're going to need more people there.
And of course, there's some people that don't want more people there.
Lots of people who don't want one.
Yeah.
And, you know, and lots of people feel strongly about, again, building on the east side of Flagler. You know, we are the only city in South Florida that has 7 miles of intercoastal as our border, and most of it you can see.
You're longer than Palm Beach. Yeah.
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 So,
Okay.
you know, our entire eastern border is the intercoastal waterway.
And I guess the last thing is, this is kind of throwing you a softball though. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, everything looked pretty bleak. Now you've got They want to build a hotel on Hibiscus. They want to build a hotel next to the convention center, Rybovich, the chapel, which, for better or worse, is going to bring money into the city. So, you know, things are starting to look up. But of course, you know, the mantra is, you know, we can't just get all cocky and say we're out of the woods, because you still have, you know, things like the pension issue and everything else. And Jeff Green said flat out, if you don't get some more money in or find other ways to cut, you might end up even with all the new development, because a lot of that won't come on the tax rolls right away. So you're not clean and green yet.
No, we have to be careful. We have to be really, really frugal about the way we spend the taxpayers' money. And, you know, we are borrowing money from the reserve, which we're not going to be able to do again. And, you know, I'm committed to repaying that money back this year. And we have to continue to be very tight on our spending. We are seeing a lot of positive economic indicators here in West Palm Beach. We are projecting $5 billion in new construction over the next 5 years. You know, that's in the pipeline. Some of that's going to improve, some of that won't, but that's a big deal. And but it doesn't mean that we're out of the woods over the next couple of years. We absolutely have to do pension reform. Pension reform, and that won't be easy. But I'm looking forward to working closely with our unions, and I think they understand that the belt tightening isn't over with yet.